We're back in our happy place.
It is, isn't it? As soon as that door closes, I go, yeah, no one can get us.
Yeah, and today it's a special one because we have got, what do they say, two for the price of one. We've got a double act on, which doesn't
two dynamic
happen
people.
that often.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's true. Well, look, today we're joined by one of Australia's most loved couples. Grant Denyer has spent decades entertaining us on television with his quick wit, boundless energy, and honesty about life's highs and lows. Beside him is his beautiful wife, Cheryl Denyer, a woman whose journey into spirituality and intuitive work has inspired many to think differently about life's deeper questions. Together, they've weathered incredible successes and personal challenges and everything family life can throw at them. They share a love of laughter, resilience, and, of course, openness to life's unexpected twists. Today, we're chatting about love, marriage, purpose, spirituality, recovery, family, and what they've learned from walking through life side by side. Welcome, Grant and Cheryl, to Over the Back Fence.
Chezzi, Grant, welcome. Woo, we finally made it, didn't we? I think, a few difficulties there. I don't know. I think was it the spirits coming through, Chezzi, or what was that?
You know what? That could be my excuse for everything now that doesn't work out.
I think
what I've realised is mediumship affects your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm sure it does.
I think it does. It does. And you know what? How fun. We actually met at the launch of, which your brother was executive producer of,
right.
Top Knots. And when we were on what was it? We've got to brag there on that soup you got.
We
Mischief.
did. Yeah, we were.
And,
we all looked like we belonged there, didn't we? It's a shame it's only for a few hours.
That was fun, wasn't it?
Great show, Top Knots. Grant, there was. It's for those that don't know it. It's a show about or relative to things upon the water, whether that be swimming with sharks or sailing or racing on boats or whatever. And there was a great crew. How did you enjoy it, Grant?
Well, as a concept, it's fantastic because I was a massive fan of Top Gear, being a car racer for several decades. And then this took what was, this big global, massively successful, or biggest show in the world there for a little while, Top Gear, which was based on the land. It was like, let's do Top Gear, on the water, which had everything to do with on the water, under the water, over the water. And it was just a phenomenal success. So lots of crazy, wild stunts. And it was just an incredible debut of a brand new Australian TV concept. So, yeah, we're very, very proud of it. It was a lot of fun.
Well, I heard that there was a little bit too much fun that Richard was, my brother that produced it, he just rang actually and he went, oh, don't forget to say to Grant, he lost his pants and he went the full nudie run.
Woo! Hey, is that a first?
I was killing myself. I was going, yeah, I believe that would be Grant. Like, hey, that's why we love you.
So Chezzi might know about that one. Oh, actually, maybe we do.
No, the bloody brother, I did it for the crew, to be honest, because we'd only just met, right? So it was like, we're getting to know one another and how we work and what we do and what our personalities are like. And it was a pretty loud environment. Whenever you got Miguel on television, he's just like a foghorn. He's so loud. So I thought, what I'll do? I'll surprise everyone with a nudie jump off this second-story building into the water. And I did it just for the crew, just to make him giggle. And then somehow it made it in the show for real. It went away.
That was the highlights. Wow. Look, I'm going to ask and come straight out.
Long light.
Yeah, right.
So funny. Let's get to some juicy parts here. How did you two groovers meet? And when? And tell us a bit about your story, you two.
Oh, we worked together for a while and we didn't like each other.
At all.
No.
Wow.
So I was Grant's producer and I was kind of brought in to put on Grant because he was doing Dancing with the Stars and he was, putting energy into everything but his, Sunrise role. And so they brought me in and said, you need
to wrangle this lunatic.
Yeah, pretty much. I think they kind of thought, well, the two of them will clash and we'll be able to bring Grant back. But Grant was racing. You were having a great time. You were just doing lots of different primetime shows. And so occasionally in the morning time when he was supposed to be at the weather, he would, have come from celebrating his Dancing with the Stars night and couldn't find the crew. And
Under the weather, for the weather.
I was thinking, that's a great T-shirt. Great T-shirt.
amazing.
Yeah.
So I was living life large. I have a say yes to everything philosophy in my career. I think when you start from nothing and you have to take everything on, and I think the universe, if you say yes to the universe, it continues to deliver and provide. So I was living that philosophy pretty hard, and racing bare supercars on the weekends. I was hosting Australia's Got Talent, or dancing in Dancing with the Stars, and then every day of every week you were in a different part of the country for sunrise. You literally travel every single day. Like I had 750 flights in 3.5 years. So it was this pedal to the metal approach to life and my career, and I needed a firm hand on my bot, and I got
Well,
one.
you got it with Cheryl.
So what was the moment, Chezzi, when things changed from sort of like, you're kind of you're his producer and there's a bit of tension there. When did it turn to love?
Can I?
I love it. Go, Grant.
I fell first, and so I remember when Chezzi said we hated each other. We really, we clashed a lot because we had different philosophies on how to do television. I was a young smart ass. I thought I knew everything. She comes along with her TV ideas. I think she knows it all. So we clashed because we were, we had slightly different theories on how to do things. And then one day I turned around and I accidentally brushed her hand, and I had this just overwhelming tingle just go from my head to my toes, and it hit me like a ton of bricks, and I was like, oh my God, I cannot live without this woman. And
Really?
It was sudden. It came on like the biggest light bulb realization moment that you've ever had in your life, and I was like, what is this? What's just happened? Oh my God, I've never felt this before. So it was scary and exciting at the same time.
It's, the beautiful thing is we often talk about there's a lot of people out there looking for love who are expecting something, but at the end of the day, what do you feel? And that was a classic of you feeling it before anything else. And I think that's magnificent.
How did you feel, Chezzi? Did you get that spark yourself?
Single?
There definitely was a moment. It scared the bejesus out of me, and I ran for the hills because we were, we were in other relationships, and it felt so much more comfortable to work together and not like each other.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, this moment happened, which neither of us were expecting, and it scared me. So I
love it.
I ran.
I love it.
She ran and I had to chase her. Like literally, she went missing, and I thought, oh my God, I've broken her. What's going on? So she was really trying to work through the difficulties of those feelings, and I was like, just like a lovesick puppy, just wanting more. I need more. I love you.
And the amazing thing about you two is, Chezzi, I mean, it was years later, obviously you married, but there was something Richard, my brother, said to me, because you guys travelled a bit with this show, Top Knots, and how many people came up, and guys that are listening, you all know Grant, this fabulous, fun, high energy guy through our TV screens, but a whole lot of different people came up to Grant. Richard was saying, he said, I was blown away, and they said, we want to say to you, Grant, or I want to say to you, thank you, you saved me. When you came out and talked openly about your accident that you had and your consequent painkiller addiction, when you came out, because I've always adored you, he said, and you came out and spoke your truth and you were authentic about what you were going through with this addiction, you saved me. And there was another guy, same thing, came up and said, thank God you spoke your truth because I'm now a different person. And look, I'm almost getting teary saying this, but I thought, Richard said, I was blown away. And look, at the end of the day, we can't do this interview and not go down that road. Can you talk to us, both of you? I mean, Cheryl, you were there to obviously nurse this feeling that you had with Grant. How did that come about? Like, did you broke your back as a consequence of an accident?
Well, I think, to be honest, look, yes, it did. I was in a monster truck accident and broke my back, and it shattered my L1 into 11 pieces. So it just exploded, it pulverized it. And it was not sure at the very, very early stages whether I would walk again. And, there was a lot of those questions. But, I think the older I get and the more wise I've become, I think it was the universe trying to sit me on my ass and say, slow the hell down, in the same way that I was just telling you how I lived pedal to the metal, saying yes to everything that was sent my way and treating everything as a gift. I was really running out of steam really fast. I was pushing through. I was on the verge of at least chronic fatigue or some sort of breakdown. And I think the broken back came along as hey, it sat me on my ass to slow me down. And then the problem actually happened was it took a long time to recover. And yeah, it was very grim, very dark. Someone who does live pretty fast and free, having to lie down for 4 months to recover, it does a lot of emotional damage to you. The things I did and said to my poor wife, whilst on that Class A medication, was still humiliating and shameful to remember today. The fact that she's still here is a miracle, to be honest. Because, if you are married or the partner of someone who has hurt themselves and maybe is on those painkillers, it's extremely difficult. And it's a real relationship breaker. So we'd only just really got together. So.
Nobody really knew. So I had to call Grant's mum, and I had not met her yet. I had to call her and say, hi.
How do you do?
You don't know me, but your mum had an accident, and so she flew in, and we had only just 2 weeks earlier moved in together just as a trial before we were telling anyone. And so poor Grant's mum arrived and didn't know that we were kind of having a trial living together. And so, we didn't, it was so fresh.
Yeah. Yeah, it really, it was. And it was, unfortunately, a shocking start to the relationship, for Chezzi having to become, an in-house carer, immediately.
Wow.
So it put a lot of pressure on. And there's things that happen, like when you're on those kind of medications, when you close your eyes each night, you go immediately straight into your worst nightmares. So whatever your personal worst fears are, maybe it's your partner cheating on you, there being a home invasion, being murdered, whatever it is, whatever your darkest thing is, the moment you close your eyes, you go to sleep, you go straight into those scenarios. That's what the medication does to you, mixed with the pain. The problem is when you wake up, you cannot tell the difference between the dream and the reality. So everything feels extremely real, even though you only really just dreamt it. So I wasn't supposed to be able to walk, yet I was convinced someone had broken into the house and they were attacking Chezzi, and I'd sort of climb out on the floor, coming out to take on people who I thought were there and hurting her. So, I'd be just yelling at her, where are they? Where are they? And she's sort of typing on the computer in the corner going, who? Where? What are you talking about?
And you very quickly realise that you have to, because I would say, I don't know what you're talking about. I think you're having some kind of psychosis. There's no one here. And I could see how visibly upset he was. So you sort of have to enter into that world, where they'll have to, say to him, yes, somebody did break in, they're gone now. It's okay, you can come back to bed. Because he was supposed to be lying still for 3 months without moving to allow the collagen to form around the crushed vertebrae. And so, when he would wake up screaming and having these nightmares about various things, he would forget that he had a broken back and he would just try to get up. And so I remember tying him to the hospital bed that we had in our lounge room with a belt. I remember thinking, I don't know how, because to me, if I can't keep him still, it's not going to heal, and then he's going to have lifelong issues, because one of those shards could very easily sever his spinal cord. It was intense.
How do you navigate a
Um,
relationship through that? Seriously.
And it's just early days.
Yeah,
They always
exactly.
say it takes even
You're
the
meant to
best
be
of
getting drunk
times
and wee,
uh,
whatever. Like,
yeah. But and
Yeah,
then
you're supposed to be in the bubble.
exactly, yeah,
Exactly. Right
the
on.
love bubble, this
Right
new
on.
romance, and then for you, Grant, what was the transition then to get off those drugs, or how did it change, or what do you?
Well,
What was your
I did a lot of things along the way that really made it hard for Shez. There was a moment where, like she said, if she denied something that I was experienced, I would think she was in on it and she was working against me or keeping some sort of secret. Again, you default to your worst instincts or your worst fears, right? So there were moments I threw eggs at Chezzi at one point.
I love you. Here's an egg. Bang. Bloody hell.
I don't know
Great. What
I
about
don't know why I did it.
scrambled? Like, unreal.
But
It's an incredible story.
But I think one of the things they don't, when they send you home from hospital, they don't say, okay, so only use the pain medicine for 2 weeks, and then I want you to taper back. They say, well, if he's in pain, give him the medicine. So I was giving him the medicine, and then I was also saying, I at some point, I think he's going crazy here. And it wasn't until he locked me out of the house and wouldn't let me back in because he was having these delusions.
And you went back in for more. Glutton for punishment, Chez.
Changed his medication. But I think you were probably fortunate in the sense that I was helping to administer the medications, and so.
Oh yeah, if I had control over those meds, I can't imagine how bad it would have got.
Oh.
But when you're in the hospital, they treat the injury, then they send you out the door to recover, but no one tells you how to psychologically handle what's about to come, or no one sits the partner down and goes, he may do this, he may say this, these things might happen. Just letting you know so you know in advance.
Did you have to wean yourself, Grant, or what happened with that? Sort of someone else listening who might even have an addiction or something to these sort of painkillers. What's happened to you? How did you? Was it the healing of your back?
Well, at that moment I was racing V8 supercars, so I'd done a couple of Bathurst 1000s. I think I missed out on maybe my second or third one because I'd broken my back. So I needed a carrot on a stick, or a reason to take my treatment as seriously as I could, even though I was delusional half the time, was to get back motor racing. I knew that no matter how bad this was, I knew if I could just get back in a race car and win a race again, I knew I could close the book on that chapter and then never have to think about that again. So I was very focused on getting back in the car. And so we just tried to, I set an event that I could return to, which gave me a goal and a focus.
Which, can I say, was Nürburgring,
Germany.
Oh,
what?
Okay.
One of the most, the biggest, was a 24-hour race.
24-hour.
It wasn't a little carrot. This was a big carrot.
Massive.
You knew what you were heading in for. Seriously.
Yeah, in saying that, if anybody saw him during that period, he cried watching the races on TV as he's tied, in his pajamas to the hospital bed, crying because he kept thinking that he might never be able to race again and never be able to walk again. So when we kind of headed off to Germany, I'm sure there was a lot of people saying, what are you doing? This is madness.
I'm thinking that.
It's
seriously.
Really, he was broken.
Yeah.
It was,
I think the first time I actually walked was to walk out on stage to host Carols in the Domain.
Yeah.
I had
really?
fiberglass kind of body wrap underneath me to hold my spine straight with a tuxedo. Yeah, like a plastic corset. So I could walk out and host carols in the Domain.
You literally rose above it.
My favourite thing.
It's all about attitude, isn't it?
And how long ago was that? Because you've been married, and talk about stand by your man, or stand by your woman. How long ago was that?
That was 2008.
Wow.
And you stuck in there, and you married him in 2010.
And now three daughters later.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful names.
The only way's up.
Yeah, I love it. So that was 2 years on from the accident. You got married, and as Nicola said, how beautiful the birth of your first child. I love her name. It was 2011, is that right?
Yes.
So you got
yeah.
what,
and that's
Sailor,
Yeah.
and Scout and Sunday.
Yeah, beautiful
All
names.
Beautiful
Love
Yeah.
names.
And
Thank
look,
you.
what
You know,
we really have this
we-
city on our desk for a reason. The Weird Little Girl Who Talked to Ghosts by Chezzi Denya, who you are looking at now if you're on YouTube, if not listening to.
Highly recommend.
We both adore this book. But look, to be honest with you, Chezzi, like, when did you first realise, obviously as a young girl, that you had some sort of spiritual connection, some sort of alignment there?
it was early on, but I forgot. And as I, take you through my experiences in the book, I had blocked it and pushed it down so deep that it took a lot of work to try and uncover it. But I think the earliest experiences that I can remember were before 4, and in fact, I do have some old drawings that my mum kept, and I was 2.5, 3.
Wow.
That's
And
pretty
so
young.
just for
So
the
young.
listeners too, we highly congratulate you on this book. I think it's sold
We
out
love
straight
it.
away and it's been reprinted and I don't even know how many other countries it is in the world, but it certainly is an incredible book. But tell us just a little bit about it because, you had, was it from a young girl, you'd get these signs, but also, the Catholics, bringing and the nuns,
Shocking.
you were humiliated by sort of sometimes saying some things. Just
Hands pushing
tell
down.
us a little bit about those early days and then how it came back to you again, how you were ready to
And
take
also
it
the
on.
family, grandma and mum, and like coming through the lineage, which I find fascinating.
Yes.
Yeah, that was very powerful. Yeah, I went to a Catholic school and I was that annoying, curious child forever asking questions that you weren't supposed to ask at a Catholic school. So I remember vividly putting my hand up and I genuinely wanted to know, when you come back in the next life, can you choose what you come back as? Now, I can't remember what lesson I was supposed to be learning at the time, but I know it wasn't about past lives. Because I remember the nun turning around.
Not a lot of past lives in Catholic religion.
It was
Well,
probably
it's
something,
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't get on with the nuns at
maths
school.
or something.
Mm.
Yeah, and I've heard that so much. So you can imagine, miss, or sister, when you come back in the next life, you get to choose what you come back as. Now, that, I just remember her eyes looking at me, and this happened a lot. And I was either really stupid, why I kept asking, or I just was naive thinking that she might have actually been able to help me. But I had this insatiable curiosity about the next life, about what I was in past lives, I saw things that I very quickly realized other people didn't see. I spoke to people on the playground, and I do remember friends saying, "Who are you talking to?" And I, very quickly realized they couldn't see these spirits or these people. To me, they were as clear as anything. And in fact, for most of my adult life, I would often say I had a great imagination as a kid. I had lots of imaginary friends. And it wasn't until I started writing the book and I had to go back through my whole life story that I started to realize they were never imaginary. And then I spoke to my mum and dad, and my mum now, God bless her, has dementia. So I'm so fortunate that I was able to have these discussions before she really started to lose her memory of those times. But Dad said to me, like, you used to come in after playing on the trampoline with all your friends, and you would say, I've been out there playing with Dominica, and I've been out there playing with, a very unusual name for a 4-year-old from Bathurst. And he's like, what? And I would talk about these wild experiences, we've been playing with the old bombs and things like this. And my parents they really had no understanding of what was going on. And I do recall saying to my mum one particular day, saying to her that Mr. Magoo from up the road had come to me. He died last night and he wants his wife to know she doesn't need to cry anymore. And I remember my mum, who's as sweet as anything, and is very accepting. I remember her holding me just that little bit tighter in a hug, and she held on a little bit long. And I thought, this is a bit unusual. I don't think I can talk about this anymore. So that was kind of happening at home. But what I didn't realise at the time, my mum had grown up believing that her mum and her grandmother had electric shock therapy because they were psychotic or had schizophrenia.
Assumed they had that though, wasn't it?
Assumed, that's right.
Like because they had connection to spirit, they were assumed it was a mental health issue, and your mother had witnessed that, right? How frightening!
So my mum had no idea about spirit, but she would say, "Oh, Grandma was really crazy." She used to say that these people were talking to her all the time.
So she feared for you that you would suffer the same outcome. Would you be sent to some sort of asylum somewhere?
Yeah.
And so that was kind of happening at home. So then I'd go to school and I had the nuns and they were teaching me about the Holy Spirit. And I thought, I can't see the Holy Spirit. It's the only spirit I can't see, but
that's actually brilliant. It's a great line. Said in the book,
It came to me things like, if you keep talking about speaking to, because I didn't know, I was saying, I have voices talking to me, are they angels? And the nuns thought I was, excuse me, can you turn that off, Grant? We've got all the devices going off today. This is like...
As Nicola said,
so I think it's the spirits. Yeah, spirits are around, and sometimes they do interfere with things like that.
They thought I was making a mockery of Catholicism, and so they gave me. I had the cane. I was 8.
Oh, that's mean, isn't it? Little girl.
I was so terrified because it had been drummed into me. I was so terrified that I was opening up a demon portal. So I was either schizophrenic and going off to a hospital, or I was about to welcome the devil into my life, and everyone in my family who mattered to me would suffer some terrible accident, and it would all be my fault.
Oh my gosh! So Chezzi, did you then suppress this for many years, and then? What brought it back, or what was the acceptance?
So I lost a very good friend, and it really broke me. We'd had babies at the same time, and I genuinely thought that she would beat cancer because she was, how would you describe Amy? Like
fierce.
Yeah. And
determined.
So full of life. And I couldn't fathom her passing away. And so when she did, it was a shock. She had gone overseas for treatment, and I was expecting to hear her say, I've won. That was the call. But that wasn't the call that I got. The call that I got was to say that she'd passed away. And it broke me. And I went through this huge, deep grief. And during that time, we were recording our podcast, and we had birds flying into windows, and not just one or two, we had 16. So we'd be sitting here recording our podcast, and all of a sudden you'd hear bang, and you'd see the outline of the bird, and we'd look, and the bird's, flown off. It was like a horror film, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we had to look up the meaning of all these little signals and signs that were starting to happen around us and try to figure out what it was.
And so at this point, I was not connected. Like when I say I had forgotten it, blocked it, like those
pushed it down.
Memories.
Yeah.
Yep. It was long. Like it was somebody else's story. If you ask me, that's how far from my reality it was. But I did say to Grant, I think someone somewhere is trying to get
literally
a message
knocking
to
on the
you.
windows with the birds. Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wake
and
up.
We had a couple of mediums on the podcast, and it was one of them who said, your friend is trying to contact you. Have you had birds flying into windows? And we hadn't told anybody. We thought,
Yeah.
And we went.
We're like, whoa!
Yeah, we
And then
did.
That's the sign.
And that was
And
the
it was just-
transition point for you to unravel
Yeah,
all
so
of
then
that.
I was like, well, how do I communicate with you? And then, she just started to push things in my feed. I had the car radio would turn on before I'd even turned the car on with Amy Shark, Tell Them All I Said Hi. That was a song that would repeatedly come on. And I'm like, what's going on?
Her name was Amy.
Her name was Amy, yeah. So I started studying mediumship. I just I reached out to a school in Canada and I did like a free lesson and I did really well and it surprised me and I really enjoyed it. So I kind of dabbled a little bit and studied a bit more and then it just grew. And after my final exam with the medium school in Canada, I got high distinction and I was so happy because I've never had a high distinction in my life. And Grant and I went out and we had a lovely lunch and celebrated and I was like, cheers, didn't disconnect from the spirit world. Not a good student, clearly, because you are taught to do that.
So you were celebrating your gift at that stage rather than it was, I'm getting like the image of a waterfall being pushed down and it was like an explosion. It's like the lid came off and here I am, I'm free. It's like, this is me.
And you've got Grant by your side, which is so beautiful.
And having said that with Grant by his side, when did Grant first realise you had this incredible gift to source or gift to spirit?
Oh, she was weird from the beginning.
Ah, I love it.
We all like a little bit of weird.
You can talk.
Yeah.
Mr. Pants Down.
She was just built differently and very hard to pin down and hard to understand, but also really intriguing and exciting why she operated so uniquely and differently. But seeing her rediscover these skills and watch them turn on like a light switch, like go from 0 to 100 super quick, was pretty clever. She had a lot of personal doubt still, like, is this a thing? Do I have it? Is it real? Are people going to think I'm crazy?
Am I going to hell?
Am I going to hell? That was real.
I get that.
That's
she wrestled
conditioning
with.
from early days. It would be very difficult.
100%.
Yes.
But I tell you, the gift of watching her, like, if you've ever lost one, and everyone's lost someone in their lives, whether it be a grandparent or a friend or whatever, but that when you are deep in that grief and you are struggling to move through it and you are in pain and you can't find a way out of it or to make sense of it, to see her come along and meet someone and just feel the messages come through and what she will first, give them 3 identifying characteristics, so the person knows who she's talking about. Did you lose an auntie or did they buy you a red shirt? Or so then the person knows, yes, that is the person. And then she would deliver the message and you just watch the relief. You watch the pain just fly away. You watch the love for that lost person return. And then you see them like being able to kind of navigate life again. Like that is... I make stupid television game shows where we go, pick a case, maybe you win $100,000, maybe you don't. What she does is truly the most beautiful thing to witness. And, we're proud of her. I'm jealous that she now has more skills than me, but we love her.
Well, what do they say? We say we are spiritual beings having a human experience at the end of the day. I remember hearing that on Michael Singer, The Untethered Soul. Like, to me, that says a lot about what you I keep saying your gift, that you have your gifts on board. I just want to say, I can't help but think, and for everyone listening, like spiritual voices coming into your head, like, is it a burden or a blessing? Like, how do you manage that?
So when I first, the book essentially started because I was overrun with messages, exactly like what you're talking about. It was like I was deep in it. They just kept coming and coming, and I'd hear them, wake up, wake up, wake up. You've got to write it. So I was like writing constantly, pulling over on the side of the road, writing it. And then I was invited to Arthur Finlay College over in London, and they said, no, you've got to set boundaries. And I thought, well, how do I set boundaries? And they said,
typical female.
You decide when you decide when is the right time. And so now I'll come into the office and I'll sit down and I'll say, okay, next. And then they come through, and it's very respectful. But in saying that, occasionally it will come through sporadically, not all the time. And so I guess I'm used to listening when something is urgent. I will, listen. It happened probably 2 weeks after the book came out. I had a voice in the morning saying, you need to get up and write my message, please, and I need you to. And it was like all audient, because sometimes I see, sometimes I hear, sometimes I feel or sense. And this was very clairaudient, and it was instructions. You need to create a video. You need to have the words on the. I'm like, oh my God, okay, sure. You need to have stars, and you need to have this music, and so I followed it all, and because now I just trust, and it's like you need to put it up on Instagram. It's not really what I do. No, you need to do that. Okay, so I put it up on Instagram, and it was the family of this person came to me that weekend and had and showed me word for word that what I put up was from a letter that their loved one who had passed. And they had a lot of confusion, and my post led them to my book, which gave them answers. So occasionally things like that happen, but not all the time, because I've set boundaries.
Chezzi, that must be so rewarding. It's, I was just saying beforehand, before we went to air, that how I reread your book again just before you coming on, and the back section of, and for the listeners there, it's all those messages, and I guess they're the ones you're saying that came through in the early days, and you're just saying there might be a message for you, or if there's not there for you, it'll maybe be coming to you later. So I was reading them, and I didn't get it the first time. I just didn't expect to sort of get a message personally, but I was sort of by myself, this nice sort of quiet spot, and all of a sudden, goosebumps, and then the words there from my mother had said with her grandma when she'd passed, "Do not weep for me," and all of a sudden, and I'm not a big crier, I started bawling my eyes out, but it was so beautiful. And I had my dog with me. He came over going like, "Are you okay?" And I thought, oh, wow. And straight away I felt my mum, my late mum, next to me and that line, and then my grandma. And I thought, Chezzi, thank you. I personally, unexpectedly got that. And then the next one was actually had like, your cat in the spirit, and I inherited my late mother's cat.
It's incredible.
Fur. So, this book is really, truly magical. I think it's for everyone. If you don't believe in it, that's fine.
Yeah.
But what would you say your
not?
takeaway message is? Is it sort of like then being unafraid now to speak up, or what's it from you, Chezzi?
I think when I first released the book, it was about my story was only to give the messages credibility, because I wanted to get the messages out. They were so important.
I didn't know
and
that.
when I first thought, I'm going to release a book of messages, and then I thought, oh no, the optics of that probably aren't great, because they'd be like, have you been drinking? What you've been talking to spirits? Because no one knew anything. So that's why I kind of went back through my life story to try and work out why was I given all these messages? Like, why? They could have gone to anyone. Why me? And so it was really healing for me to write and to relearn what happened to me, because we have. All right. We're very, very in demand. It was really healing for me to go back through my life story. And when I put it into the book, I thought, there's no turning back now. Like, I have put everything in there, and I needed to, because the messages were the heart of the book. And
very powerful.
When I published it, I thought, you know what, nobody really is going to read it. I'm sure my parents will have boxes of these books in their garage for, for forever.
I think a lot of writers do that. Writers, what do they say? Something holds them back. It's some writer's guilt or something.
But then what started to happen was that people started to read it. Maybe they were reading for the messages, but they found something healing in my words. And I very quickly was overrun by emails from people, messages saying, we can't believe we forgot that we had an experience at 4. And now you've validated that the light that's been flicking in the bathroom, who I thought was my mother trying to talk to me, you've validated that for me. And
you talk about spirit signals. Now you've said the flicking of the light. I have to be honest, when my mum passed away, Mum loved kookaburras, and a kookaburra kept coming back to my house. And I have one now that lands on my bed, and I know it's Mum. So anyone that's listening, if you're grieving, ask for a sign. And that's what I learnt from Chezzi in the book. Yeah. Ask for a sign. And it's not too much to say those few words. Just say it to the sky.
And I think you've got nothing to lose, stay open to it. And I think, what's sort of good now, I guess, through podcasts and exposure in books and stuff,
Butterflies.
It's no longer sort of a to-do and woo-woo as much. We've had David the Medium on a few times, and he's extraordinary. And we've been to the Opera House and seen him. It's interesting. And, it's now, I think, a lot more accepting.
It is.
And we've all got the gifts. Is that correct? But some tap in more than others? Chezzi?
Absolutely. And, I am the pin-up story for being able to forget so much and then being able to remember it. So we are all born with the ability to connect, but various things, it could be your home environment, it could be how your family, discusses these types of things that makes you forget. And I think that's been the biggest takeaway from my book, is so many people now remembering experiences or talking about things that they never told a soul that happened to them, that they were convinced was, paranormal. And now I'm just making
Well, thank you so much for that, because it really is. I find I've said that to David too. It's also, and it's comforting. So what you're doing there is really comforting, like that. Now we always talk about relationships. Now, come on, you two, you've certainly backed each other up. You've seen each other through the highs and lows. What are some of the successes or some of the tips or whatever you'd say to keep a good marriage going?
Against all odds sometimes.
Against all odds, yeah.
Happy wife, happy life.
That's a simple one. That's a simple one. That's a classic.
I love it. There you go, Grant. Slam.
Look, I think, it's not without its challenges. I think the one thing I learned as I start to do some work on myself is we can all very easily marry the one who reflects our own childhood wounds, right? Like every single person has an operating system which we developed between the ages of usually 3 and about 7 of, am I loved? Am I lovable? Do people want to be around me? Do I feel seen or unheard of? Or, what are your vulnerabilities that become your operating system as an adult? And, I think it's very easy to marry someone who mirrors those wounds, and those wounds can be problematic because it can be frustrating. One of my wounds is, why won't you play with me? Basically as a little kid, a single mom, I longed for having a father figure in my life. And, she was consumed by a lot of her own difficulties and raising kids and having enough money to put food on the table. And I just felt very alone. So when Chezzi can be very busy, and Chezzi I describe as someone who has all the tabs open in her brain.
I love it. All the portals. I love it.
Yeah.
I thought it was just job lists, but it actually turns out the tabs are talking to other spirits. But when she's very distracted and very busy, I feel I turn into a little kid going, excuse me, I'm here.
Over
Why
here.
won't you play with me?
Sulky.
So I can default to that a lot, and then while it's painful at the time because you're going, well, she doesn't love me anymore. She doesn't feel anything. She doesn't want to hang out with me. I'm a nuisance to her. All those wounds come up, and I can kind of give them some placement now and going, well, that's not what she's doing to me. That's some programming I developed as a little kid, and she's bouncing it off.
So you turn it around in your head, Grant, like you flip it.
I try. It doesn't always work.
No, but as a rule now, if that surfaces, do you mentally go, oh, actually,
you've got the awareness, is it, of where
emotional awareness, so healthy.
I stopped blaming her for ignoring me and realised I'm overly sensitive to perhaps her being distracted or having other things going in her life, and she won't want me anymore.
It's not all about Grant.
Constantly evolving. He's
It's
constantly
healthy.
evolving.
But I love that. I love what you've just said then. It was very raw and very honest. And I think, look, even I was thinking components of that with me growing up in a family of 8 kids. And maybe I've, transferred that to others. It's really healthy to sit in that, isn't it? Or recognize it, awareness around it, and then go, actually, what am I doing here? This is so wrong. This is so negative. How healthy. People live and die and never acknowledge that and blame the world and blame their partner.
And it's not your fault, right? One of my key ones is I am unlovable, and I don't know exactly why or how that came along. So my natural fear is that she's just going to decide one day, oh, actually he's a bit of a dickhead, I might leave. Right? So that's, in my mind, I'm just waiting for that moment to happen because it's going to happen. So that's how I've operated most of my life. So a fear of losing her. So that need for attention is because I'm testing her to see if she's ready to run away because she's realised I'm a loser. So
the big L on the
forehead. I know it's not her how she's treating me, it's how I'm reacting to a moment that I'm witnessing.
How you treating you.
I go, okay, well that's giving me a spotlight to go and work on that thing, right? So otherwise...
And he's doing this mostly himself because a lot of the time when we have these discussions, I'm not even contemplating that's what he's thinking. I came from a family that worked 3 jobs. You just always work. So I have a problem with relaxing, and often, that is also a big issue because Grant will say, come and sit down and watch a movie. And I'm like, well, no, I can't do that because I've still got all these jobs to do.
And I go, she won't make the time for me. I don't deserve it. She has other bigger priorities. I'm way down here. And that's my immediate response to her not watching a movie, right?
It's communication. It's communicating it.
It's communicating, but it's also self-realization, isn't it? And
fabulous.
And was that through counselling that you got that awareness, Grant, that you've actually then gone, look at this,
I feel like you had it first. I feel like you might have refined it, but I feel like you were always looking to improve yourself.
Yeah, I think what had happened, so after I broke my back, I was like, I'm healthy, I'm great, oh my God, I'm Superman, I've recovered from a broken back, life is a gift, I'm going to squeeze more juice out of this, I'm going to go harder than I did before. And all I did was ignore the lesson of my broken back, went harder than I'd ever done, and then fell into a heap and had chronic fatigue and took quite a while to respond from that.
Your body will tell you. Your body will always tell you.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. And what do you think, Chezzi? I was just going to say, what are your tips? What do you think with from your view?
About Grant or with marriage?
With marriage and Grant and keeping a successful marriage. I really admire what you've said, Grant, looking within. And
I'm busy.
Different world.
I think that you have to really, we are very different, but we're also very alike. We like similar things. But Grant is highly intellectual, and he will really
I didn't know that, Grant.
Never did I.
He is. And you can tell by the way he's talking. He does lots of research and then he tests it on himself and then, he'll come to me. He's a much better communicator than me. I mean, I think I do my best communication telepathically and there's not too many people around here that I can do that with or practice. But I think communication definitely, and we have both, I guess, been able to look at our childhood wounds. That is a big thing.
Huge.
And to try and recognise the psychology of why we do things. And I think having kids and then also trying to recognise why they are acting a certain way. I often look to Grant and I'll ask him advice. I don't think you ever register that I'm asking advice, but I'm hopeless when it comes to a lot of this. I'm good when it comes to talking to spirit.
But your daughters are very, very fortunate to have you two as parents because
they sure are.
They're seeing you vulnerable and you're seeing you honest. It's a great gift to
both
for
done the work
to grow up with. Congratulations, as parents.
Our only purpose, surely, on this plane that we call Earth and its existence we are given is to bring on a generation that's better than the one before,
Well
right?
said.
So if I go into adulthood and fatherhood, still not leaning into how I could do better or why do I work this way, or trying to work on my mental health, or trying to figure out a better way to live as a human being, then, I'm only going to pass on the same shit to my kids, right? And I don't, we're all, being flawed is fabulous. It's great. It's what makes us all different, and it provides different challenges. But I think
healthy.
staying curious and wanting to work on it, and then facing the uncomfortable, So I've done some therapy, I've done lots of different forms of treatment, and started with Dr. Matthew Burke, really.
I love him.
Yeah,
I love him.
Yes.
I love him. I noticed
great man?
you've been, oh man, a kinesiologist. Like,
he's known.
he's in our
Yes.
area.
The beaches as well is quite well known, but quite
it's
well known,
just
I think, globally now
seriously,
as well. But I think
yeah.
that's good for our listeners, just sort of hearing it is important to do the work, and a lot of it is. And the longer that we live, learning it is really looking within most issues, and then you can be a better person or a better, wife or spouse or girlfriend or whatever when you look in instead of blaming the others, because it's
100%.
so easy. But just turning the thing there, we got to ask you, Grant, as well, because like I know you've done at highs and lows, the Sunrise Weatherman and Family Feud. It's what a hoot of a show. But is that where you tell us about what it was, how important it was through your highs and lows from TV when they worked you to the core, winning the gold Logie?
Yeah, that was that one snuck up on me on how I don't go into anything I do to win awards. I do it because I enjoy what it is, and sometimes the award can be the byproduct of doing a good job, right? But
exactly.
Again, I think from that little kid who was, I'll tell you why I'm on television, because I felt small and insignificant. And I felt like my opinion didn't matter.
Right.
So I subconsciously chose a career where I felt big, important, and I had a loud voice, or at least a platform to speak from. That desire of wanting to be admired, appreciated. So I've subconsciously built a career in television just to service those childhood wounds. Now, I've enjoyed the journey along the way. I've had a great time. You got a wife? A wife.
Yes. And a good one.
Exactly.
And a good one at that.
He did. He got
with many
kids.
voices.
Weirdly, standing on that stage when they called your name out, it's sort of, you go, I took a big exhale, because I felt like I'd been running on a treadmill, dialed up to, max, for my whole life, trying to compete against the person next to you for the next run of the ladders, to get the job ahead of that person over there. That human race, the race aspect of the human race, is exhausting. And I remember when not that I pin who I am on a gold Logie, but it's pretty awesome.
I love it.
It was, you can relax, you can breathe. You did it, boy. You did it. You got there. Despite the odds, you made it work. And I think it was only from that. I reckon prior to that, I was not authentic, not true to myself. I was just an amalgamation of other people who I admired, and I'd taken on their personalities a little bit, because I was trying to be everything that I thought people want you to be,
yes,
rather than just being yourself.
Being you.
But weirdly, winning the Logie, I was like relaxed, and I've been myself ever since that, more than I ever have. And it's
well
been the
done,
most joyous,
Grant.
relaxing,
Well done,
and
because
freeing
the
thing.
That's the
Logies
gift,
are
isn't it?
looming at the moment. Just congratulate. Look, we're going to run out of time. I just have to ask a question to you, Chezzi. We love Chezzi. We know a Chezzi. It's left field, I know, but I often feel things intuitively. I want to know, is that connected to spirit? What is that? Like, I don't even know where that feeling comes. We all feel intuition. Some don't acknowledge it. I do. I feel it, and I go, maybe that's wrong, because I don't feel that this what I'm thinking I should be doing is right. Is that spirit? Like, what is that?
That's a stepping stone to you being able to connect with spirit very easily. So sometimes your intuition, that's a feeling you describe. So that's clairsentience. And that is a sense that you can use to connect to spirit. So your intuition is your inner compass. And if you are able to trust that and you are able to lean into that, then there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to connect with your spirit guides. We all have them. And also to speak to that your mum has passed, you would be able to communicate with her using that sense.
Yeah, you know, that gut feeling.
And
I've got a gut
do it.
feeling. I get it a bit, don't I, Nicola?
Yeah.
I'm a little bit like
Yeah.
that. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for that.
No, thank you, because
for
I was just saying, I
understanding.
think everyone's got it in you, but it's sometimes, and when you have those deep feelings, Di
I
feels
do.
it, and
Yeah.
then knowing Di is a very good friend, you're getting more and more connected, or you're getting more and more vocal about it as well, feeling it's coming stronger, and it's wonderful, and it's a gift. And
well, as you said, we all have, and you asked that very question.
But not everybody leans into it.
Exactly.
And I
That's
didn't
the
know what it was for a long time, so we would go and have a look. So Grant takes a really long time usually to decide on things because everything has to be right. And I remember one time we tested out a mattress, and we were testing them all, and Grant in a shop, not at home. Yeah.
I'm glad. Kids,
and
it's getting R-rated now.
He's got his
laid on one.
It's essential.
I laid on this mattress in the shop, and I said to him, "That's it." And he said, "It's really expensive. You can't do that." No, that's it. And he said, "No, we're not going to buy it on a whim."
You can make a decision in 5 seconds.
Just knew what you're talking about, that gut feeling. I just knew, and it was so palpable. I was like, no, that's it. And we had that mattress for such a long time, and I used to always say, remember I chose this mattress, like
3 girls later.
No, I chose it. But use it as a guide. I love that when you said that as a guide. So many people override it. Tune in to get that gut feeling back.
And before we go, because we've got so many things to ask, and Grant, what would you say, what's some of, I don't know, your life lessons? You've certainly had a lot of ups and downs in life, highs and lows, and you just now at this incredible point really in your life sort of coming out and saying how you feel, and what's, I don't know, some advice or life tips that you could share?
Oh, look, I think I've had a massive fight with being afraid of failure. So I got an incredible work ethic, but I will not attempt something that I don't think I'll be excellent at or the best at, and that is a flaw I'm trying to ensure that my girls don't have, because sometimes the greatest gift, if you think and I can be a little bit of a perfectionist where I like things planned out, and if I've got the 5-year plan, the 10-year plan, and I'm focused on those steps only, you miss the gifts that come in from the periphery, from the side that you never expected, and the universe is very good at doing that. So sometimes you can overthink it a little bit, but being afraid of failure can be so crippling, and failure ends up being the greatest gift that ever happened to you, because they will either, maybe perhaps you're going down the wrong road, you meet failure, and failure is a wonderful roadblock that will turn you around so you can come back and then head on the road that you're supposed to go on. So seeing it as a gift, seeing it as a wonderful opportunity, and not something to be ashamed of or embarrassed by, but embracing failure as one of the great navigators of your destiny is a powerful one.
You too.
That is fantastic.
I could bottle you and just.
And Chezzi, what about
make
from
a
you?
Fortune.
What's your? Cause that's just so. Thank you, Grant.
Yeah.
Because who needs perfection?
This'll
There's no
be
such thing.
interesting.
What about you?
Intellectual.
Yeah.
Right? Listening to
I
you.
saw you were listening
It is an absolute
intently.
curse.
Shares to
and I was
love
thinking, no wonder the universe sent me to you, because I am the epitome
stop.
of.
Two.
Go and get a room.
Couple goals. I want to hear Chezzi. What's your tips?
No. Grant is child number 4.
Of course.
Because
of course.
I'm one of those people who just, I don't know, I just keep trying, and I fail all the time. Everything's messy, nothing's organized. And it's just go, just give it a go. So it's so interesting hearing you say that, because I'm like, yeah, we really do strangely balance each other, don't we? Because often Grant will say, I can't believe you're doing it like this, so haphazard. And he appreciates it because it kind of takes away your OCD.
And a little bit. And again, the things that we rub up against are the things that sort of aggravate us at various points, because we're all at different growth rates, right? You might be ahead at some point, I might be ahead in development, I might have worked on stuff, you might have worked on stuff. You're never really equal exactly at the same place. Just to give each other some forgiveness that you're in different stages of growth and at different timings, right? So But I look at if there's something that's aggravating me from you, it is a gift because it's giving me the spyglass to work on something that I need
Love
to
it.
fix, right?
Love it. I think you nailed
He
it.
needs to write a book.
You
doesn't he?
actually nailed
You
that.
absolutely
I love it.
do need
You
to
know,
write
you're very
about
different.
that.
Am I right? OCD and is it ADHD? Is this like what that both meet in the household?
All the spectrums.
All the spectrum. So what
Yeah,
fun!
yeah.
Like seriously,
Wow.
like incredible.
And we haven't even touched on your daughters.
No.
But, and there's so much we could keep on talking
I
about.
could
but,
do part 2. I can't believe it.
and just letting our listeners know, where are you based? Where are you at the moment? Where's home?
We are at our farm in outside of Bathurst, so it's nice and cold.
This
what is it? What temperature?
Country New South Wales for our overseas listeners.
It was -4 this morning. It was quite sunny, but I'm not quite sure now.
Well, we've got our
Rains or
signature
snow.
questions that we're going to ask you before we let you go. Di, did you want to shoot?
Yay. We'll throw it at Grant first. What makes you happy?
Oh, this is a really good question. What makes you happy?
She's next to you. Better say her. And I'm only joking. Go on.
It's like a psychic gift.
Thing that comes
Exactly.
into your mind.
I think going on adventures with your team, your crew,
Top knots.
your family, new experiences with your family. I reckon is my absolute happy place.
Wow.
Love it.
Actually, I've got to just quickly interrupt because we talk about the thing you're saying with past lives as well. And Chezzi, you said that you had felt it in India, and you two actually went to India for the Amazing Race, because we've actually got a trip where we've got going to India. So I love it when you're saying, Grant, about adventures going there. We're creating our own, but that's special to you.
We're all going to get bindies.
Isn't it, Chezzi?
Yes.
So what makes you happy,
I love
Chezzi? Chezzi Wezzy, what makes you happy?
Hanging with my family.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Both of you, I love this. This is yummy.
And that's true. We sat last night and watched Spider-Man, probably a little bit too late, just sitting on the couch. We were all laughing, and that was fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's healthy, beautiful
what's the
stuff.
next question?
Okay, and Chezzi, I'm going to go to you.
Yeah.
If you could share a back fence with anybody on planet Earth, who would it be and why, past or present?
Oh,
Well, we never really
Miss
die
Piggy.
anyhow, did we?
Not even real, but Miss Piggy. I'm also into talking to people who aren't real.
Miss Piggy.
Yeah.
She identifies as Miss Piggy, and she thinks I'm her Kermit.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, that is so funny. Well, we've never had that one
Kermit?
before. That is too funny.
Oh,
Have you seen how Miss Piggy treats Kermit?
Yeah,
Not so
I love
great.
it. Oh, Miss Piggy, that is.
Look at
You
them.
two were so cute.
As
And
I
what
said,
about?
get a room.
I know. And Grant, if you could share a back fence with anybody on planet Earth, who would it be and why?
Who would I talk to? Who do you
You'd
think?
talk to Jesus, I reckon.
I reckon you'd be right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm doing a lot of study at the moment. I don't know why, on the origins of humanity and purpose, and I like to go through all the different cultures of their religions and sort of pick bits that seem relevant and try and join the dots and see the pattern to try and figure out what all this is for real. So yeah, I'd love to ask someone who had the answer. What are we doing here? What is this for?
Oh,
Love it.
Bravo.
I love it.
See?
I love that.
See, everyone's, it's all in the mystics and all in the stars. And, you know, we've
Beautiful.
certainly got the stars here. And thank you so much
I
for joining
adore
us.
you both.
You can watch us on YouTube.
Yeah.
So subscribe, watch Grant and Chezzi, and get this book as well.
Fabulous. We loved
And
it.
don't forget to rate and review. We've got our own system. I don't know
Oh,
whether you know,
God.
we've got the Di Edwards rating system. So we want people to actually share these things and give us the how many stars rating. We love the 5. But out of 5, what do these two
I've been
get?
so lost in this interview.
many stars?
Normally, I sort of think about it through. I'm so lost in it. I have to almost say infinity out of 5.
Well,
Shoot for the stars,
Shoot for
really.
the stars.
Shoot for the stars.
Thank you so
I
much
love
for
you both.
joining us.
Thank you.
And thanks for listening.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.